My name's Elissa and I'm from a company called Elle Sera. Predominantly our hero product is the golden pill, and that is great for like hormonal balancing. We use adaptogens to do that. So these aren't things these have been around for thousands of years, and we've put them all together in the correct dosages, because that is really important. It's one thing to say, okay, maca is really great for X, Y, Z, but if you've got it at such a low dose, it's not going to do anything, then it's pointless. So we use it at the correct clinical dosages, and we use people that are far more intelligent than me to ascertain those dosages and make sure that this blend was going to work synergistically. And one of the things that it does do is support our hormones. So most of our ladies are perimenopausal or menopausal. They're starting to feel, getting a bit of brain fog, energy's dipping, libido's dipping, noticing that their skin is changing. They're just not feeling their best self. And obviously that's because estrogen's declining, your progesterone's declining, and that has, obviously estrogen is, you retain a lot of water with estrogen. It makes your skin plumper. When that's declining, it's then going to have a big effect. As we get older, our skin gets drier, thinner. And this is something I'm really interested in. I follow Alice a lot and what she says, because I know a lot of people who have really abrasive skin cares and stuff like that. And I'm like, we're getting older. I don't want to make my skin even thinner with things like that. So predominantly, sorry, I've gone off on a tangent, but we sell the golden pill, which is hormonal support, essentially.
And the golden pill, as it's known, which is loved by many regular people, as well as celebrities like Abby Clancy, has put you in a position where you're leading a community of thousands of women who are all sharing with you how they feel as they enter perimenopause and menopause. What are some of the things you hear from women in these situations about how this stage of life is affecting them emotionally and physically?
In terms of their visible appearance, there's three big ones that always come into us. Hair loss is a big one, skin aging, like wrinkles, and cellulite is a big one as well. Obviously, as estrogen is declining, your skin's breaking down, your elastin, your collagen, it's all breaking down. So cellulite's coming to the forefront a little bit more. And that really affects then their confidence, because again, with the bit of a lack of libido thing, they don't want to take the clothes off in front of the partner. They feel like their body is now changing. And it's really heartbreaking, some of the things that we read from our community. And I always go back to, it doesn't matter what supplement you use on the planet or treatments or anything, you have to start with a great foundation of great nutrition, a protein-rich diet, because you need things like the B12, vitamin C, vitamin E, and you need to be weight training. You've got to be keeping that structure there, that muscle density, bone density. These are all going to help with your self-esteem, your confidence, going to make you feel better, and they're going to support you. I'm like the first one to say that 70% of supplements out there do not work. Largely, it's an unregulated industry, and there's a lot of shysters out there. So actually, you should be supporting yourself with food, and then supplements are like the cherry on top. You know what I mean? How can I optimize? Like Brian Johnson. Mentally, I'm right where Brian Johnson is. I just haven't got his resources. Do you need that? I know. So I love the work that he does, but I think foundationally, you can never out-train or out-tweak or out-anything a bad diet, and that's where it starts.
Do you think a lot of women are surprised by how they start feeling as they get older? Do you see that they weren't expecting, to be feeling declines in their health or appearance?
I think it's obviously spoken about a lot more than it ever was. So more people are being aware of it now, and hormonal balances. Even we get a lot of younger ladies who are maybe on the pill and noticing that's having a big effect on them now, or they're postpartum or something like that. But they're a lot more vocal about it. There's a lot more information online. When I started the business, we weren't even allowed to even talk about anything to do with reproductive parts. We were banned all the time on Instagram because you just weren't allowed to talk about it. And then after a lot of campaigning, Meta has now allowed a bit of more female reproductive education. But there's just never been that out there. They don't do studies on women. There's not in the medical community much to go off. It's now changing, but I really love the fact that people are reaching out, they are doing their own research. Yeah, I'm never pushy within our customers. If they ask questions, I'm like, this is not an impulse purchase. I'd rather you go away and think about it. Here is the answer to the questions. And if I don't know the answer, I'll go and find an expert that does. And we're very much like, it's there if you want it and not if you don't. And I think that's why we have such a strong, good community and incredible feedback and reviews, because we're not trying to push this product on them. If it's right for them, it's right for them.
One thing that always impresses me about you, Elissa, is the fact that you've built a very successful business that's grown incredibly fast, supporting thousands of women with a profit-first approach and with a team of just 2 for you and 1 other person as a full-time employee. It's the ultimate in the way a modern brand and modern business. Talking more on the topic of entrepreneurship, did you always want to build the business in that way? And what's your advice for other people?
Do you know what? I just do what I feel is right. And again, I like to run a lean operation. Very difficult to run loads of staff. And we got to the level where we were outsourcing a lot of things like our fulfillment, because we did all that in-house as well, me and Kelly just doing it. But actually, I did every job. I know how to do every job. And if the worst came to the worst, I could still do every single job in that business. I could do the marketing, the creative. I could do everything. But me and Kelly got very different skill sets. I'm very kind of creative, copy-driven, ads, marketing. That is my forte. She's so organised. Like, I can't even put anything in our Google Calendar. I'm like, oh, I can't even understand this. I'm not data-driven. But because I know that, I can double down on what I am good at and then hire in the resources that I need to. But I just don't think I would be a great manager of people. So I don't need a big team. It's actually easier to work in the way that we're doing at the moment. And I just don't know any other way, to be honest.
And talk about the impact that Publicity's had on the business, because Publicity is often thought of as something a bit, you can't necessarily predict it, and is it still relevant in today's age where you can do so much through social channels? What's been the impact of Publicity? Because that's really revolutionised the business, hasn't it, in terms of its scale?
I mean, I started the business, I've talked about this a lot, I started the business with £50,000 and I made £40,000 in my first month. So I literally nearly broke even in my first month, and then we did break even in 6 weeks, and that was all down to one Daily Mail piece, which I'd written and then pitched in, and my God, they printed it. I was like, amazing. And they put it on the Mail Online. I was like, this is amazing. And I just, I couldn't believe it. But these kind of hero pieces don't come along that often. And, but when they do, they're incredible. And everybody laughs at me, especially in the direct-to-consumer community, because I'm like legacy media. They're like, you're so old school. I'm like, I know, I'm like a dinosaur. Because I do not focus on meta ads. I just believe that, and I really focus on community. Like, we do a lot of offline events. We've got a great one coming up. We've got like nearly 100 women come to an event. And somebody said the other day, you're running a pyramid scheme, you're doing a refer a friend. And I was like, yeah, we do a refer a friend. Yeah, if you refer us to a friend, then you get money off and she gets money off. What's the problem with that? And she was like, well, that's like a pyramid scheme. I was like, it's not. I don't want to give any more money to Mark Zuckerberg on Meta. So I'd rather give it back to you. So it's called marketing. I'm just doing it in a different way. And she was like, oh, pennies dropped. And that is, anything we can do that is not performance marketing related. Yes, you need it in your 360 mix, but I will never die on that hill. It's just a way to spend cash fast. And some people who think they're good at it, I think you're not good at it. You might be turning over 10 million, but you spent 9.8 to get there. And all you're good at is spending money. And that's not marketing. I believe in outthinking, not outspending.
That is so true. And then just lastly, what about celebrity endorsement? Because Abby Clancy recently endorsed your brand. And that is another thing that had a profound impact on revenue.
Oh, it was unbelievable. First of all, I didn't even know it was happening.
Yeah, that's what's even more brilliant about it.
Completely organic. Yeah, like it's not, there's one thing paying a celebrity to endorse your product, that's one thing, and we've never done that. And then there's another thing where she told me the story, and she was like, I was in Portugal and I was just telling everybody how I felt, and one of my friends said, you need to get back this golden pill. She said, then and there I bought it. It comes, and then your customer, I love it. Then she goes on a podcast and she's chatting away to Pete, and on the podcast and mentions it, and then that was it. It just exploded, and every single news outlet picked it up. Lorraine, This Morning, like everything. All that free exposure in media, honestly, I could literally kiss her. I was like, oh my God, like incredible. Like, what a summer we had. Just the orders went mental, and just we were so grateful. Then she invited me on her podcast to talk a bit more about it, and it was an endorsement that was so organic, and she was sharing stuff that was so vulnerable with her partner as well.